They have been referred to as the crown jewel of New Zealand. We thought all of our Kia calling had paid off because we saw like 6 or 7 Kia. We are in Arthur's Pass today to tackle Avalanche Peak. This beautiful mountain is the only hike that is marked all the way to the summit in the Arthur's Pass area. Arthur's Pass is a beautiful national park, and it is one of the 3 passes that connect the east coast of the South Island of New Zealand to the west coast of the South Island of New Zealand. It takes you up into the Southern Alps here. The Southern Alps are the beautiful, stunning backbone of the South Island that run damn near the whole length of the South Island. And today we're gonna have epic views. So there's 2 ways to get to Avalanche Peak. There's the Avalanche Peak track and there is Scott's track. And we are taking Scott's track. Supposedly it has better views on the way up. Looking at about a little over 1100 total elevation gain. About 6 to 8 hours is what it says for the round trip. Been a while since I did something with this much elevation. Feels good to get back in the mountains. Whew. Today we're gonna answer the age-old question. Is leftover Domino's pizza and a Monster energy drink the best breakfast to have before climbing a mountain? We'll see. So I've talked about this before, but just a refresher, the mountains, especially in Arthur's Pass, are the result of tectonic uplifting from the Indo-Australian and the Pacific plates bumping into each other. But particularly in Arthur's Pass, they are, as they are being uplifted, they're also constantly being eroded in Arthur's Pass. So you won't find any mountains in this area above 2,500 meters. Pretty epic views, and we're not even really getting that high up yet. Both sides, and this trail is actually directly across from Devil's Punch Bowl Falls. So I keep turning back and seeing great views of that massive waterfall across the street over there. But man, just great views, and we haven't even gotten above the tree line yet. I can only imagine what's in store for us. I'm not sure, but I think that's Avalanche Peak. I think that's where we're going. If not there, then somewhere behind this. So back home, we call this stuff old man's beard. So what do you think? Does it match up? How does it compare to this old man's beard? Is it similar? It's definitely similar texture. Not exactly the same color, but pretty close. Old man's beard, meet old man's beard. So going through this little tunnel here, this is the little last bit of the trees. And I think, yeah, now we are above the tree line. Cool. These are great to catch rainwater or morning dew. So have a nice little sip from a leaf cup. Though it's pretty dry here, it hasn't rained in over a month. Now remember, I told you these peaks are constantly eroding. These mountains are constantly eroding. So despite the constant tectonic uplifting, they're constantly eroding to offset that uplift. Here we are at the top of Avalanche Peak. Took us 4 hours, so the trailhead said between 3 and 4 hours, and we were going very slow. Took a lot of breaks, but just breathtaking 360-degree views of the stunning Southern Alps of the South Island of New Zealand. They have been referred to as the crown jewel of New Zealand. Absolutely stunning. What's on the menu? What's on the mountain hike menu?
You bought it. You tell me.
Alright, there you go. How is it?
Pretty good. Your shirt doesn't have honey?
Yep. So we had been buying the regular OSM bars here as a hiking snack, but we stopped doing that. Luckily they came out with these new OSM bars, which are pretty good, and we're just trying them for the first time. But the original ones have Manuka honey in them, and I wasn't too concerned about eating honey until I found out Manuka is especially bad, because the way they produce Manuka honey is they essentially starve the bees and they put them in a remote area where there's no other food source except Manuka. And it's not a preferred food source, and it's not very nutritionally good for the bees, and so it stresses the bees and it actually causes the bees to die. So Manuka honey is a killer of bees, and they claim that it has, you know, healing medicinal properties for humans, but stay away from the Manuka honey. Back to Arthur's Pass Village now, and we thought all of our Kia calling had paid off because we saw like 6 or 7 Kia. It was amazing, and finally realized that somebody looks like is feeding them by leaving a bunch of food scraps in their yard, carrots and bread and a bunch of crap in their yard, and it just makes me so sad because this bird that's already critically endangered is not going to survive. When people keep feeding the birds like this, they teach their young and their offspring to depend on humans for food. So instead of going in and scavenging for food like they normally would, they become reliant on humans. And then when the humans stop feeding them, or the tourists stop showing up and feeding them, and they have not learned how to find food on their own, they die. And so it's really sad to see this endangered bird that these idiot people here, you think that they would know. If you live in Arthur's Pass Village, if you're a local, you would know not to feed the wildlife. The person who lives down at the end of this road here on the right, appears they're feeding the Kias, and ultimately that's going to lead to their extinction. Terrible.
Infamous